First contact and misconceptions. The vast expanse of space had always held secrets, but none quite as surprising as the one the Zarkonian Empire stumbled upon in the outer reaches of the Milky Way galaxy. Their advanced scout ships, cloaked in technology that bent light around their hulls, slipped silently into the Sol system, drawn by faint electromagnetic signals that had piqued their curiosity. Commander Kelthor, a seasoned veteran of the Zarkonian fleet, stood on the bridge of the flagship Nebula Claw, his four eyes fixed on the holographic display of a blue and green planet. Earth, as the inhabitants called it, rotated slowly before him, clouds swirling across its surface in mesmerizing patterns. "Fascinating," he muttered, his scaled skin shimmering under the soft light of the bridge. "Life-bearing planets are rare enough, but one teeming with sapient life. This is unprecedented in our explorations." His second-in-command, Vixora, approached with a data pad in her slender, six-fingered hand. "Commander, our initial scans are complete. The dominant species calls themselves humans. They appear to be in the early stages of their technological development." Kelthor's upper eyes narrowed while his lower pair widened in curiosity. "Show me." The holographic display shifted, zooming in on various locations across the planet's surface. Cities sprawled across coastlines, vehicles traversed intricate road networks, and aircraft dotted the skies. But to the Zarkonians, accustomed to the marvels of their own civilization, it all seemed quaint, almost primitive. "They haven't even achieved unified planetary governance," Vixora noted, her tone a mixture of disdain and pity. "Their world is divided into numerous factions, often in conflict with one another." Kelthor chittered, a sound that in Zarkonian culture denoted amusement tinged with contempt. "How have they survived this long? Surely a species so fractured would have destroyed itself by now." As they watched, the display showed scenes of human life. Families in parks, workers in offices, athletes competing in stadiums. The Zarkonians observed with growing bewilderment. "They seem so fragile," Vixora remarked. "Their bodies lack any natural defenses. No scales, no claws, not even a proper exoskeleton. How do they survive on a planet with such diverse and potentially dangerous flora and fauna?" Kelthor stroked his chin tentacles thoughtfully. "Perhaps they've been fortunate. A quirk of evolution on a planet with few natural predators. It would explain their rapid population growth despite their obvious vulnerabilities." The commander turned to his chief scientist, Dr. Zoltek, who had been silently analyzing the data streaming in from their scanners. "Doctor, what's your assessment? Do these humans pose any threat to the Empire?" Zoltek's multifaceted eyes flickered as he processed the information. "Based on our current scans, Commander, the humans appear to be no match for our technological and biological superiority. Their weapons are crude, relying primarily on chemical propellants and basic fission devices. They have no energy shields, no faster-than-light capabilities, and their understanding of quantum mechanics is in its infancy." A low, rumbling laugh escaped Kelthor's throat. "So we've stumbled upon a world of children playing at civilization. How quaint." Vixora, ever the pragmatist, interjected, "But surely, Commander, a species capable of sending radio signals into space must have some potential." Kelthor waved a dismissive hand. "Potential, yes, but unrealized. Look at them, Vixora. Their planet is a treasure trove of resources, yet they squander them on petty conflicts and frivolous pursuits. They've barely scratched the surface of their world's potential, let alone their own." The bridge fell silent as the implications of their discovery sank in. The Zarkonian Empire had been expanding for centuries, assimilating or conquering worlds to fuel their ever-growing need for resources and living space. Earth, with its abundant water, diverse biosphere, and rich mineral deposits, was a prize beyond compare. "Prepare a report for the High Council," Kelthor ordered, his voice filled with the confidence of a predator who has spotted easy prey. "Recommend immediate action to secure this world for the Empire. These humans, in their current state, will offer little resistance. As his crew scrambled to obey, Kelthor allowed himself a moment of reflection. In all his years of service, he had overseen the subjugation of a dozen worlds, but never had he encountered a species that seemed so ill-equipped to defend itself. The humans, with their soft skin and fragile bones, their petty divisions and limited technology, were surely destined to become just another footnote in the glorious history of Zarkonian expansion. Little did Kelthor know that his assumptions, based on cold data and cursory observations, were about to be challenged in ways he could never have imagined. The Zarkonians, in their arrogance, had made a crucial mistake. They had judged humanity solely by its physical attributes and visible technology, overlooking the intangible qualities that had allowed this young species to rise to dominance on their world. As the Zarkonian fleet began to mobilize, hidden from the eyes of Earth's primitive detection systems, humanity continued about its daily life, blissfully unaware of the storm gathering at the edges of their solar system. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the foundations of both civilizations and redefine the very concept of strength in the cosmos. In the coming days, the Zarkonians would learn a harsh lesson: that true power often lies not in scales or claws, not in advanced weaponry or shield technology, but in the indomitable spirit of a species that had clawed its way to sapience against all odds. The humans, dismissed as weak and primitive, were about to show the galaxy what they were truly capable of when pushed to the brink. The invasion begins. The Zarkonian invasion fleet descended upon Earth with the silent efficiency of apex predators. Massive ships, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly iridescence, emerged from the inky blackness of space, positioning themselves strategically around the planet. Commander Kelthor stood at the helm of the Nebula Claw, his four eyes gleaming with anticipation. "Commence the first phase," he ordered, his voice steady and confident. "Disable their primitive communication networks and power grids. Let's see how these humans function without their technological crutches." Across the globe, chaos erupted as satellites blinked out of existence, power plants went dark, and communication systems fell silent. Humanity's first indication that something was terribly wrong came not with a bang, but with an eerie silence that swept across the planet. In New York City, Sarah Chen, a brilliant young quantum physicist, stared in disbelief at her darkened computer screen. The particle accelerator she had been using for her groundbreaking research hummed to a stop, years of work suddenly at risk. But as panic began to set in around her, Sarah's mind was already racing, connecting dots that others couldn't see. Meanwhile, in a small village in Kenya, Jabari Okello, a veteran of countless local conflicts turned school teacher, sensed the change in the air. The sudden silence of radios and the absence of the usual drone of distant traffic set his instincts on high alert. As others looked to the sky in confusion, Jabari was already gathering his community, his years of survival experience kicking into high gear. Aboard the Nebula Claw, Sarah monitored the humans' reactions with growing unease. "Commander," she reported, "the humans are responding more cohesively than anticipated. We're seeing pockets of organized resistance forming, particularly around their military installations." Kelthor chittered dismissively. "As expected, even the simplest organisms will twitch when prodded. Proceed with ground deployment. Let's show these humans the futility of resistance." Zarkonian drop pods streaked through Earth's atmosphere, landing in key strategic locations. As the alien invaders emerged, sleek and menacing in their advanced battle armor, they expected to find panicked, disorganized humans easy for the taking. What they encountered instead shocked them to their core. In Washington, D.C., a squadron of Zarkonian shock troops found themselves ambushed by a hastily assembled group of civilians led by retired Marine Colonel Jack Harper. Despite being outgunned and facing technology centuries beyond their own, Harper's group employed guerrilla tactics that kept the aliens off balance. "Remember, people," Harper shouted as he ducked behind an overturned bus, plasma bolts sizzling overhead. "We're fighting for our homes, our families, our very existence. Don't let these oversized lizards think for a second that we're easy prey. His words galvanized the defenders, each person finding reserves of courage and ingenuity they never knew they possessed. Molotov cocktails, cobbled together from liquor bottles and gasoline, arced through the air, their primitive fury catching the Zarkonians by surprise. The aliens' energy shields, designed to deflect advanced energy weapons, proved less effective against the crude but determined human assault. Across the globe, similar scenes played out. In Tokyo, a group of construction workers and office employees, led by a quick-thinking architect named Hiroshi Tanaka, used their knowledge of the city's complex underground network to outmaneuver the alien forces, luring the invaders into narrow tunnels and collapsing sections behind them. They turned the urban landscape into a deadly maze. In Rio de Janeiro, Sofia Duarte, a champion rock climber, organized a group of favela residents to scale the steep hillsides, raining down a barrage of improvised projectiles on the confused alien troops below. The Zarkonians, accustomed to fighting on open battlefields or in the vacuum of space, found themselves ill-prepared for the three-dimensional chaos of human urban warfare. Back on the Nebula Claw, Kelthor watched with growing frustration as reports flooded in from his ground forces. "Impossible," he muttered, his scales flushing with a mix of anger and disbelief. "How are these primitive creatures offering such resistance?" Dr. Zoltek, the chief scientist, approached cautiously. "Commander, our initial assessments may have been flawed. The humans are displaying levels of adaptability and resourcefulness that defy our understanding of their capabilities." Kelthor rounded on the scientist, his voice a low growl. "Explain." Zoltek's multifaceted eyes flickered nervously. "It appears, Commander, that human strength lies not in their physical attributes or technological advancement, but in their incredible cognitive flexibility and social cohesion under stress. They're using tools and strategies we never anticipated, and they're doing so with a level of coordination that suggests a hive mind-like efficiency, despite their lack of telepathic abilities." As if to underscore Zoltek's point, alarms blared across the ship. Vixera's voice cut through the chaos. "Commander, we're detecting a surge of electromagnetic energy from the planet's surface. It appears the humans have managed to restore power to some of their defense systems." On the planet below, Sarah Chen stood in the heart of a hastily repurposed particle accelerator. With a team of fellow scientists and engineers from around the world, connected via a cobbled-together network of old ham radios and jury-rigged servers, she had done the impossible. They had weaponized the very fabric of quantum mechanics, turning a research tool into humanity's first line of defense against the alien threat. "Initiating quantum field destabilization," Sarah announced, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. With a flip of a switch, a wave of energy unlike anything the Zarkonians had ever encountered radiated outward from key points around the globe. In orbit, Kelthor watched in horror as the energy wave washed over his fleet. Shield systems flickered and failed, propulsion units sputtered, and communication arrays went dark. For the first time since the invasion began, real fear crept into his heart. "Full retreat," he bellowed, his earlier confidence shattered. "Regroup beyond the moon's orbit. We need to reassess everything we thought we knew about these humans." As the Zarkonian ships limped away from Earth, humanity celebrated its first major victory. But both sides knew this was only the beginning. The humans had revealed depths of strength and ingenuity that had taken their invaders completely by surprise, but the Zarkonians were far from defeated. In the streets of cities around the world, humans emerged from hiding, tears of joy and determination mingling on their faces. They had faced an enemy beyond their wildest nightmares and held their ground. Now, as they began the work of rebuilding and preparing for the battles yet to come, a new sense of unity and purpose swept across the planet. Jabari Okello, standing atop a hill overlooking his village, now an impromptu command center coordinating defense efforts across East Africa, smiled grimly. "They came expecting to find weakness," he said to no one in particular, But instead, they awakened a strength they could never have imagined. As night fell on a battered but unbroken Earth, humanity stood ready to face whatever challenges the stars might throw at them next. The Zarkonians had dismissed humans as weak, but in doing so, they had unleashed a power that would reshape the galaxy itself. Uncovering human potential, the Zarkonian fleet hung in the shadow of Earth's moon, a collection of wounded predators licking their wounds and reassessing their prey. Commander Kelthor paced the bridge of the Nebula Claw, his earlier confidence replaced by a mix of frustration and grudging respect. "I want answers," he growled, addressing the assembled team of scientists and strategists. "How did we underestimate these humans so severely?" Dr. Zoltek stepped forward, his multifaceted eyes flickering with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. "Commander, we've completed a more comprehensive analysis of the humans, including deep scans of their biology and brain activity. The results are extraordinary." The holographic display came to life, showing a detailed image of a human brain. As Zoltek spoke, different areas lit up, a symphony of neural activity playing out before them. The human brain, while physically unimpressive, displays a level of plasticity and interconnectedness that we've never encountered before. They have an unparalleled ability to form new neural pathways, adapting to new situations with remarkable speed. Vixera leaned in, her eyes narrowing. "Are you saying their brains are superior to ours?" Zoltek chittered nervously. "Not superior, exactly. Different. Where our brains excel in processing speed and multitasking, human brains show an incredible capacity for creative problem-solving and emotional intelligence. This combination allows them to come up with solutions we would never consider and to form social bonds that strengthen their collective capabilities." On the display, the image shifted to show a human body, highlighting various systems. Moreover, we've discovered that humans possess several hidden physiological advantages. Their endocrine system, for instance, can flood their bodies with performance-enhancing chemicals in response to stress or excitement. This adrenaline, as they call it, can temporarily grant them strength and speed far beyond their baseline capabilities. Kelthor's scales rippled with disbelief. "You're telling me these soft, fragile creatures can spontaneously enhance their physical abilities?" "Yes, Commander," Zoltek confirmed. "But it goes beyond that. Their bodies have a remarkable ability to adapt to different environments over time. They can acclimatize to extreme temperatures, high altitudes, and even increase their muscle mass and bone density in response to physical stress. In a sense, they're constantly evolving on an individual level." As the Zarkonians digested this information, the scene on Earth was one of feverish activity. The initial alien assault had awakened a sleeping giant, and humanity was now unified in a way it had never been before. In a repurposed automotive factory in Detroit, engineers and workers toiled around the clock, reverse engineering captured alien technology. Maria Rodriguez, a brilliant robotics expert, stood before a dismantled Zarkonian battle suit, her eyes gleaming with inspiration. "See how their servo motors interface with this pseudo-organic tissue," she explained to her team. "We can adapt this to our exosuit prototypes. Imagine combining their tech with our understanding of human biomechanics. We'll turn our physical weaknesses into strengths." Across the globe, in a hidden bunker beneath the streets of Moscow, a joint task force of international hackers, led by the enigmatic cybersecurity prodigy Viktor Petrov, worked tirelessly to crack the alien communication codes. "Their language is based on a quantum encryption we've never seen before," Viktor mused, his fingers flying over holographic keyboards. "But every code has a pattern, and patterns are meant to be broken. We'll not only decipher their communications, we'll hijack them." Meanwhile, in the dense jungles of the Amazon, Dr. Amelia Rodriguez, a renowned botanist, made a startling discovery. "The alien weaponry has had an unexpected effect on our plant life," she reported via a secure channel. "Some species are showing rapid mutations, developing properties that could revolutionize our medicine and materials science. Nature itself is adapting to fight back. Back on the nebula Claw, the revelations continued. Zoltek pulled up new data, his voice tinged with awe. Commander, we've detected something truly remarkable. The humans' cognitive abilities seem to be evolving in real time. Their neural plasticity is allowing them to literally rewire their brains in response to our technology and tactics. Kelthor's 4 eyes widened in shock. That's impossible. No species can evolve that quickly. It's not evolution in the traditional sense, Zoltek clarified. It's more like accelerated adaptation. Their exposure to our advanced technology and the stress of our invasion is pushing their brains to form new connections, unlocking latent abilities we didn't detect in our initial scans. The display showed a series of human brain scans taken over the course of the invasion. The neural activity grew increasingly complex with each image, new pathways forming and strengthening at an alarming rate. If this trend continues, Zoltek concluded, we may soon be facing an enemy with cognitive capabilities that rival or even surpass our own. And given their creativity and adaptability, the applications of such enhanced intelligence are concerning. As if to underscore Zoltek's point, alarms blared across the ship. Vixera rushed to her console, her voice tight with disbelief. Commander, we're detecting a massive energy surge from the planet's surface. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. On Earth, in a heavily guarded facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Elias Chandler stood before a machine that defied conventional understanding. It was a hybrid of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien tech, pulsing with an otherworldly energy. Ladies and gentlemen, Chandler addressed the assembled world leaders via holographic link. What you're seeing is the culmination of Project Prometheus. By combining our quantum research with the alien power sources we've captured, we've created a device capable of manipulating the very fabric of space-time. He paused, allowing the magnitude of his words to sink in. In simpler terms, we now have the ability to generate localized wormholes. We can transport troops and resources instantly across the globe, or, his eyes gleamed with fierce determination, we can send their ships into the heart of distant stars. As the implications of this breakthrough rippled across the planet, a new sense of hope and determination swept through the human resistance. They had not only held their ground against a vastly superior foe, but were now on the cusp of turning the tables entirely. In orbit, Commander Kelthor stared at the holographic display of Earth, his earlier dismissiveness replaced by a growing sense of dread. The humans, those supposedly weak and primitive creatures, had revealed depths of potential that shook him to his core. We may have made a terrible mistake, he muttered, more to himself than to his stunned crew. The humans were not merely defending their world. They were undergoing a transformation that could alter the balance of power in the galaxy itself. As both sides prepared for the next phase of the conflict, one thing became crystal clear. The Zarkonians had awakened a sleeping giant, and in doing so, they might have sown the seeds of their own downfall. Tables turn. The vast expanse of space above Earth crackled with tension. The Zarkonian fleet, once poised for an easy conquest, now hung back in disarray, their earlier confidence shattered by the unexpected resilience and rapidly evolving capabilities of their human prey. Commander Kelthor stood on the bridge of the nebula Claw, his 4 eyes fixed on the swirling blue marble of Earth. The planet that had seemed so ripe for the taking now loomed before him like an impregnable fortress, bristling with unknown dangers and unfathomable potential. "Status report," he barked, unable to keep the edge of anxiety from his voice. Vixera approached, her usual cool demeanor tinged with unease. "Commander, our long-range scans are detecting unusual energy signatures across the planet's surface. It appears the humans are deploying new technologies at an alarming rate." Before Kelthor could respond, a blinding flash of light erupted from the Earth's atmosphere. A sleek, silver spacecraft burst forth, climbing rapidly towards the Zarkonian fleet. Its design was unlike anything they had ever seen, a seamless blend of alien technology and human innovation. Impossible, Kelthor breathed. They couldn't have mastered spaceflight so quickly. On Earth, in a control room nestled deep within the Rocky Mountains, Colonel Jack Harper stood before a bank of monitors, a fierce grin on his weathered face. "Ladies and gentlemen," he addressed the Global Command Network, "Operation Icarus is a go. Let's show these alien bastards what happens when you back humanity into a corner." The human vessel, christened the HSS Defiant, streaked towards the Zarkonian fleet. At its helm sat Sarah Chen, the quantum physicist whose breakthrough had turned the tide of the initial invasion. Now she piloted a ship powered by the very forces she had once studied in theory. "Initiating quantum drive," Sarah announced, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. The ship's engines hummed with power, drawing energy from the fabric of space-time itself. In a blink, the Defiant vanished, reappearing instantaneously amidst the Zarkonian fleet. Caught off guard, the alien ships scrambled to respond, their weapon systems charging too slowly to track the agile human craft. Sarah's fingers danced across the controls, guiding the Defiant through a series of impossible maneuvers. "Deploying Nexus Swarm," she called out. From the belly of the human ship erupted a cloud of tiny, glittering objects. These were the brainchild of Maria Rodriguez and her team. Nanobots infused with reverse-engineered Zarkonian technology and enhanced by human ingenuity. The Nexus Swarm spread rapidly, attaching itself to the hulls of the alien ships. Within seconds, the tiny machines began their work, burrowing into systems, rewriting code, and wreaking havoc on the Zarkonian fleet. Aboard the Nebula Claw, chaos erupted. Alarms blared as systems failed across the ship. "We're losing control," Vix Era shouted, her hands flying over her console. "These human devices, they're not just disabling our technology, they're reprogramming it." Kelthor watched in horror as ship after ship in his once mighty fleet went dark, their weapons and propulsion systems turned against them by the insidious human nanobots. Meanwhile, on the surface of the Earth, the counterattack was in full swing. In the Amazon, Dr. Amelia Rodriguez led a team of scientists and indigenous warriors in deploying a new biological weapon. Plants mutated by exposure to alien technology, now capable of rapid growth and corrosive properties that could eat through Zarkonian armor like acid. In Moscow, Viktor Petrov and his team of hackers launched a devastating cyber assault. Having cracked the quantum encryption of the Zarkonian communications, they flooded the alien networks with contradictory orders and false information, sowing confusion and disarray throughout their ranks. And in Detroit, the first wave of human soldiers equipped with Maria Rodriguez's enhanced exosuits took to the field. These suits, a fusion of Zarkonian tech and human design, granted their wearers strength and speed to rival the alien invaders. Chabari Okello, now a general coordinating Earth's ground forces, watched from a command center as reports flooded in from around the globe. Everywhere, humans were pushing back, reclaiming territories lost in the initial invasion, and driving the confused and disoriented Zarkonian ground troops into retreat. "We've got them on the run," Jabari announced, his voice carrying a mix of pride and determination. "But remember, this isn't just about driving them off our world. We're fighting for the future of our species, for our right to claim our place among the stars." Back in space, the HSS Defiant continued its dance of destruction through the Zarkonian fleet. Sarah Chen's mastery of the quantum drive allowed her to outmaneuver the lumbering alien ships with ease, appearing and disappearing at will, always one step ahead of their increasingly desperate counterattacks. On the bridge of the Nebula Claw, Commander Kelthor faced the unthinkable defeat. His mighty armada, once the pride of the Zarkonian Empire, lay in ruins around him, disabled or destroyed by human ingenuity. "How?" he muttered, sinking into his command chair. "How could we have been so wrong?" Dr. Zoltek, who had been frantically analyzing the data from the human counterattack, looked up from his console. "Commander," he said, his voice filled with a mix of fear and awe, I believe we've witnessed the birth of a new superpower. The humans, their rate of advancement, their ability to adapt and innovate. It's beyond anything we've ever encountered. They're not just fighting us. They're evolving before our very eyes. As if to punctuate Zoltek's words, a massive wormhole suddenly bloomed in space before the nebula Claw. Through it, they could see the heart of a distant sun, its roiling surface filling their view screen. The voice of Dr. Elias Chandler crackled through their communication system, translated in real time by the human's newly developed universal translator. "This is Earth's final warning," he announced, his tone leaving no room for negotiation. "Surrender and withdraw, or we'll relocate your entire fleet into the core of that star. The choice is yours." Kelthor, his earlier arrogance now a distant memory, slumped in defeat. "Send the surrender signal," he ordered, his voice hollow. "Alert the Empire. We've awoken something that may reshape the very fabric of the galaxy." As the Zarkonian fleet began its inglorious retreat, cheers erupted across the Earth. Humanity had not only repelled an invasion by a vastly superior foe, but had emerged stronger, more unified, and with technologies that now put them on par with the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. In the control room in the Rocky Mountains, Colonel Harper allowed himself a moment of reflection. "We did it," he said softly, looking at the faces of his team, each bearing the marks of exhaustion and triumph. "But this is just the beginning. We've proven ourselves on the galactic stage. Now we need to decide what kind of interstellar civilization we want to become." As the sun rose on a new era for humanity, the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter, beckoning with promise and possibility. The species that had been dismissed as weak had revealed a strength that would forever change the course of galactic history. A new understanding. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Conclave buzzed with an energy unlike anything seen in millennia. Representatives from 1,000 worlds shifted nervously in their seats, their attention fixed on the central podium where an unprecedented event was about to unfold. For the first time in living memory, a new species was being welcomed into the interstellar community, not as supplicants or conquered subjects, but as equals. At the head of the human delegation stood Dr. Sarah Chen, now hailed as one of the architects of Earth's miraculous defense and subsequent leap into the stars. Beside her, Colonel Jack Harper, his weathered face a testament to the struggles they had endured, surveyed the alien delegates with a mix of wariness and hope. As they approached the podium, Sarah couldn't help but reflect on the whirlwind of events that had brought them to this moment. In the months following the Zarkonian retreat, Earth had undergone a transformation that defied imagination. The technologies born of necessity during the invasion had revolutionized every aspect of human society. Maria Rodriguez's exosuits, originally designed for combat, now helped paralyzed individuals walk and enhanced the capabilities of workers in hazardous environments. Viktor Petrov's breakthroughs in quantum computing and encryption had ushered in a new era of global cooperation and information sharing. Dr. Amelia Rodriguez's work with alien-influenced plant life had not only repaired much of the environmental damage caused by the invasion, but had also led to advancements in medicine that bordered on the miraculous. And Dr. Elias Chandler's mastery of wormhole technology had made interstellar travel a reality for humanity, opening up the cosmos in ways once thought impossible. But perhaps the most profound change had been in humanity itself. The shared experience of facing an existential threat had shattered old divisions and fostered a new sense of global unity. Countries that had once been bitter enemies now worked together in unprecedented harmony, pooling resources and knowledge in pursuit of common goals. As Sarah stepped up to the microphone, she took a deep breath, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Conclave," she began, her voice clear and strong. "We come before you not just as representatives of Earth, but as envoys of a united human race. Our journey to this moment has been one of hardship and triumph, of terror and wonder." She paused, her eyes sweeping across the assembled aliens. "We faced an enemy that believed us weak, that sought to conquer us based on a superficial assessment of our capabilities. In doing so, they awakened in us a strength we didn't know we possessed, a strength not of body or technology, but of spirit and ingenuity. In the audience, Commander Kelthor shifted uncomfortably. Once the pride of the Zarkonian fleet, he now sat as a representative of a chastened empire, here to bear witness to the ascension of the very species he had once dismissed. Sarah continued, her voice gaining passion. But we do not come seeking retribution or dominance. The crucible of invasion forged in us not just new technologies, but a new understanding of our place in the cosmos. We have seen the face of interstellar conflict, and we reject it. Instead, we extend a hand of friendship and cooperation to all peaceful civilizations. A murmur ran through the assembled delegates. This was not the speech of a militaristic upstart or a vengeful victim, but of a species that had glimpsed the bigger picture. We bring with us gifts, Sarah announced, gesturing to her colleagues. Advances in medicine that can cure diseases once thought untreatable, clean energy technologies that can revitalize dying worlds, and a unique perspective on problem solving that we believe can benefit all. She leaned forward, her eyes blazing with intensity. But more than that, we bring a warning and a promise. A warning that appearances can be deceiving, that dismissing a species based on preconceived notions can lead to grave miscalculations, and a promise that humanity, having faced the brink of extinction, is committed to ensuring that no other civilization need endure such a trial. As Sarah spoke, holographic displays came to life around the hall, showcasing the incredible advancements Earth had made. Delegates gasped in awe at the sight of towering arcologies that housed millions in harmony with nature, of spacecraft that could bend space itself, of medical techniques that bordered on the miraculous. In the Zarkonian section, Dr. Zoltek watched with a mix of scientific fascination and deep regret. We could have been allies from the start, he murmured to Kelthor. Instead, our arrogance nearly cost us everything. Kelthor nodded solemnly. And in doing so, we may have birthed a power that will reshape the galaxy. As Sarah concluded her speech, a moment of profound silence fell over the hall. Then, slowly at first, but with growing enthusiasm, applause began to ripple through the audience. Species that had never before found common ground united in their appreciation of humanity's message and potential. The leader of the conclave, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline structure, floated forward. Its voice, translated simultaneously for all present, rang out with authority. Humanity of Earth, your journey to this moment is unprecedented in our long history. You have demonstrated resilience, ingenuity, and wisdom beyond your years as a spacefaring civilization. It is with great pleasure and hope for the future that we welcome you as full members of the Galactic Conclave. Cheers erupted throughout the hall. As Sarah and her team were swarmed by delegates eager to establish relations with Earth, she caught Colonel Harper's eye. They shared a moment of quiet understanding. This was just the beginning. In the days and weeks that followed, Earth became a hub of interstellar diplomacy and cultural exchange. Aliens from across the galaxy flocked to the blue planet, eager to learn from the species that had so dramatically announced its presence on the cosmic stage. Human innovations began to spread throughout the galaxy, catalyzing advancements in countless civilizations. But perhaps more importantly, the human spirit of adaptability, creativity, and determination became a beacon of inspiration for other races. The Zarkonian Empire, chastened by their defeat, underwent a profound period of self-reflection. Under the guidance of reformers like Dr. Zoltek, they began to reassess their place in the galaxy, seeking to transform from conquerors to collaborators. As Earth's influence grew, so too did its responsibilities. True to their word, humans took up the mantle of peacekeepers and problem solvers, mediating conflicts between alien races and tackling challenges that had long stymied the galactic community. And yet, even as they reached for the stars, humans never forgot the lesson of their first contact. They remained vigilant, always ready to defend their hard-won place in the cosmos, but also ever eager to extend a hand in friendship to new civilizations they encountered. In quiet moments, Sarah Chen would often look up at the night sky, marveling at the journey that had brought humanity to this point. The stars that had once seemed so distant now twinkled with the promise of new friendships, new discoveries, and new challenges to overcome. The species that had been dismissed as weak had not only survived but had thrived, transforming adversity into opportunity and enemies into allies. As humanity took its place among the stars, the galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what this young, dynamic race would do next. For in the end, the true strength of humanity lay not in their bodies or their technology, but in their boundless capacity to adapt, to innovate, and to imagine a better future, not just for themselves, but for all sentient beings across the vast expanse of the cosmos.